Hey everyone, and welcome to Autism Awakening, the podcast that helps you help your child with autism. My name's Dr. Jared Scour, and I've been an international biomedical autism doctor for 21 years, and I have this podcast to help you, the parents, the grandparents, the teachers, the therapists, anybody who has a child with autism in their life. My goal is to have this podcast to help you understand how you can help your child better. Okay, so today's topic is going to be about serotonin. Okay, and most of us are familiar with the term serotonin. We know it's a chemical in our brain. We know it makes us happy. We know it improves our mood. So we're going to be talking a lot about serotonin and that base level that we do know, and how much more is there to know, especially when it comes to our kids with autism. Now, before we jump into that, I wanted to briefly talk about last week's podcast. Last week's podcast, we had some technical issues, unfortunately, with Facebook and with our Wi-Fi, so there was a lot of on and off. And I was considering repeating that podcast this week. I don't think we need to repeat the whole thing, but I really wanted to emphasize my point of last week's podcast. So let me do that in about 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to serotonin, okay? The podcast last week was about a research study that came out and got a lot of popularity that said the aluminum in vaccines do not cause autism, okay? So that's what that said. It's been getting a lot of press. It's being pushed a lot here in the U.S. by a certain political party who gets a lot of donations from pharma. It's par for the course for politics. But that message is really being promoted. And what I find interesting is that when we see research studies and science on TV, there is a lot of talk about it. And there's a lot of talk about it everywhere. I mean, every news station, every newspaper, it's getting out there on all levels. And that is a real coordinated marketing propaganda press release. This is organized. This is not a news station caught a hold of it and decided to do a report on it. All right. Just like the leucovorin. Okay. So obviously we talked about folinic acid and leucovorin ad nauseum because it works so well. And back in February and April, there were news pieces, one on Fox and one on, I think, CBS, doesn't matter, about leucovorin and autism and how it can help. It was just on that one news station. It was just on that one other news station. It was just in this one newspaper, or it was not the media picking up something and just doing it across the board. So this is a very staged marketing propaganda whenever you see science, whatever it is. Okay. I'm not saying just this one, all of them. When you hear about something science in the media, and it's everywhere, every media, every newspaper, every social media, yada, yada, it's propaganda. It's trying to make you believe a certain thing. Okay. Because honestly, there are hundreds, if not 1,000 scientific research studies published every day. I get autism studies emailed to me every day. So if I'm getting 5 to 20 autism studies sent to me every day, then how many other research studies on everything else is out there every day, brand new? It's a lot, guys. Okay. So if you ever see anything in the media, you're seeing one scientific research study out of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands within a season or a year. Okay. So trust me, it's propaganda. What the study said, and in my opinion, the study was done poorly in order to get a result. The study said, and here's the phrase, okay? The media phrase that they're saying is aluminum in vaccines does not cause autism. This study proved it. Okay, that's what you're hearing on the media. That's what your friends and family are reading, and it's a buzz phrase. It's a buzzword, right? But when you look at the research, here's my problem with the research. Okay, if we were to really test to see if injected aluminum, which is a neurotoxin, is injected aluminum causing developmental issues like autism, what you would do is you would compare a group of kids that got injected with aluminum from vaccines and a group of kids that did not. And then you'd compare the two, okay? Period. Or you would inject aluminum into certain kids without a vaccine. I'll just inject the aluminum at the same dose and the same schedule. And these kids I won't. And then compare. That is good science. What this study did was it compared kids who got this much aluminum in their vaccines and kids who got double the amount of aluminum in their vaccines. Okay? Here's poison, and here's twice the poison. And they said, hey, there's no difference, right? Until you start reading, because they said there was no difference in neurological developmental issues. And they had like 10, right? One of them, Asperger's, was definitely increased, but the others were pretty average range. So they said, hey, as a group, no difference, okay? Even though there was. Then they looked at different autoimmune conditions, and Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune thyroid, was definitely elevated, but all the other ones were pretty normal, except for rheumatoid arthritis. So they said, as a group, pretty much no change, okay? So we get the subjective biased summary. No change, guys. I gave this group poison and this group twice the poison. So the poison cannot be causing the issues because we didn't see any differences, except for these few that we're not going to tell you, okay? So right there, the science is poor, okay? Because if you told me, hey, give that kid a cup of bleach and that kid 2 cups of bleach, and hey, they were the same after, but we didn't compare it to a kid who drank no bleach. This is why the study's bad. They did it to get this buzzword, which is basically marketing for pharma, okay? The other thing I don't like about it is you always gotta watch who's paying for this, okay? And look, that's everywhere. If somebody's paying for something, they want an outcome, period, all right? There was a great research study on chocolate and all the health benefits of chocolate, sponsored by Hershey's, all right? I get it. They want the research, so they pay for the research. And the research seemed to work out, whether it was honest or dishonest. Got it, all right? So who paid for this study? None. All right. It's right there. It has to be right there in the research article. It says it right there. None. So you're telling me that nobody paid for doctors and scientists to analyze 1 million children in Denmark over 15, 20 years, however much. Nobody paid for that. Everybody did it for free. Okay. This study is done poorly. This study smells of design bias, and the propaganda and shout out of the approved message, okay, is obviously marketing for pharma. So this is why I disagree with it. And if you're talking to families or your docs about it, I would say, let's get into the details of this research study you're telling me. Because how would you do this research study if you wanted to see if aluminum caused symptoms? Well, I would do a group with and without. Okay, this study didn't do that. This study did a group with and a group with double. And again, if 2 of my patients, I said this last week, I really liked it. If I had 3 patients, 2 with peanut allergies, if I had 3 patients, okay, and I gave a peanut to each of them, 2 of them had peanut allergies and 1 didn't, okay, I would give 1 person 1 peanut and they died, another person 2 peanuts and they died. And I would look at them and say, you know what? There's no difference. They both died. They're both the same, okay? But I didn't try it with this person with a peanut allergy. I gave no peanuts and they're still alive, okay? Poor study, designed for a certain outcome, and then the money behind the blasting and the marketing and the propaganda of the message of this study is obviously to get people to buy vaccines. All right, I'm done talking about it. Let's get into our topic. Topic for today. So I get so revved up about this stuff when you know how marketing manipulation is done through science, you can really understand when it comes over the media what the goal is. And the goal for anything in the media is our money. So that's that, all right? Why haven't any of these research studies that I've talked about over the years that I've done podcasting, how come those don't get in the media? Okay? I didn't write these. Somebody else did. It's all about what research study is going to get the message to the money. All right, everybody, I am done ranting for now. I'm not sure if you guys like my rants or not, but either way, they're there. All right. So today we're going to talk about serotonin. So I'm talking about this on today's podcast because a lot of you have become very excited about folinic acid. I had a couple patients this morning, both on folinic acid, both amazing changes to their language, to the point where they're like, is this the folinic or is this magic? Okay. So just incredible changes with folinic. It doesn't work with everybody. So a lot of people ask me, what do I do next? What do I do with folinic or with leucovorin? That can help me even more. And this is where we're going to talk about serotonin, okay? Because what folinic acid does is let me rewind and explain this, okay? Our body takes the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, and makes everything. And I think that's gosh darn amazing that my bones and my heart and my blood and my thoughts and my feelings all come are made of what I ingest and what I bring in. They're made of oxygen. They're made of nitrogen that I breathe. They're made of the water I drink. They're made of the proteins and the fats and the vitamins that I consume. And the body, the gut breaks all those down into little pieces, okay, except for our air. And then different parts of the body reassemble them into these different things. And that's incredible. Okay. How can my body take Thanksgiving dinner, the turkey, and the tryptophan in the turkey, turn that into serotonin that makes me happy and calm and relaxed? And that serotonin becomes melatonin, and I'm happy, calm, relaxed, and sleepy. All right? Just from the food I eaten, because our body takes those ingredients and does stuff with them. So, serotonin, really, really important. Okay? Rodney said the rant shows that you care, as a doctor should. Thank you, Rodney. I get that. That's what my wife tells me. She's like, I'm angry because I care. I'm like, okay, I'll get there. So, where was I? I was rambling. Folinic acid, the body puts all this stuff together. Folinic acid is really important for the formation of brain chemistry. Okay, so the folinic acid combines with other things, B12, amino acids, other minerals, okay? And we create the chemicals that control our behavior and our thoughts and our feelings and our sleep and our language, all right? Serotonin, dopamine, adrenaline, GABA, glutamate. Okay, there's a phenylethylamine, tyramine, histamine. There are so many chemicals that affect our brain and control the electricity in our brain. And one of the big ones, one we're going to talk about today, is serotonin. Because we need that folinic acid to make serotonin. Serotonin, just like Thanksgiving dinner, are going to make me calm, happy, and relaxed. And that's what I want for our kids. I want them calm, happy, and relaxed. I also want more language. And these are the amazing things that serotonin can help with. But we've got to make more serotonin. We need folinic acid. And we need other things. So what we're going to talk about is how we can increase serotonin production in your child's brain just by giving your child the nutrients it uses to do that. And most of the time, when it comes to natural medicine, changing biology, it's all about the nutritional components. It's all about cooking. It's all about taking these ingredients. I made banana bread yesterday with my daughter. Okay, bananas and flour and sugar, baking powder and baking soda and salt and vanilla and bananas and whatever else, right? Why? Because that's what makes banana bread. So if I want to make serotonin, I just give the body the things to make serotonin, and it makes it most of the time. Sometimes there's rare genetic things that cause issues with this, but you're talking about super rare things, okay? Not that we don't deal with the super rare in autism, but it's still hard. All right. Quick question from Adriana. Mitomax is still out of stock. Yes. And I am going to talk to my producer because we are the factory is producing it. I'm not sure when it's going to be ready. Definitely soon. Definitely by the end of August. But let me find out if it's this week or next week. Thanks, Adriana. All right. So serotonin, super important. All right. Serotonin, we're going to get into the research. I have seen over 21 years. The more serotonin, the happier, the more language, the more social interaction, and the better sleep. That's what I see serotonin do. What I don't like is I will have many patients and I'll say, hey, you need this supplement. It's going to help increase serotonin in your child. And they'll come back to me and say, hey, yeah, we didn't try it because he sleeps fine. Okay. It doesn't just do sleep. It also does language. It also does social. It also does mood. It also does behavior. And again, I hear, hey, my child's behavior's fine. Okay. Yeah, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I want you guys to try everything. Okay. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, fine. That's okay too. All right. Just make sure we're trying everything, observing the response and doing what works. You try something, you don't get what you want, don't do it. Okay. Doesn't matter what it is, natural, med, therapy, okay, whatever. Give it enough time, try it. Works, awesome, keep doing it. Doesn't work, throw it away. Period. My stuff, your stuff, somebody else's stuff, doesn't matter. Your kid matters. Period. All right, let's get into what else do I need to tell you. Two other things before we get into the research. Number one, the major ingredient of serotonin, in addition to folinic acid, is a protein, tryptophan. Okay? Like I talked about, Thanksgiving dinner and the turkey and tryptophan. You can take tryptophan as a pill, all right? But you need a lot, and it doesn't taste very good. Tryptophan in the body becomes another substance called 5-HTP, stands for 5-hydroxytryptophan, okay? 5-HTP, also available as a supplement, and a very mild taste, okay? And one step closer to combining with folinic acid to become serotonin. So we often will use 5-HTP as an ingredient and as a therapy instead of tryptophan for those reasons. All right, so you need to know that. What else do you need to know? You can test your serotonin levels, okay? You can do it two ways. You can test serotonin in the blood, right? And that will often be high with our kids, but it reflects full body serotonin. It doesn't reflect the amount of serotonin in the brain, okay? So you can look for that. You can also look at something called 5-HIAA. 5-HIAA, oh, I dropped that. 5-HIAA is the metabolite of serotonin. So serotonin will either produce melatonin or will leave the body as 5-HIAA. That is an easy test to get in the urine and is normally part of our organic acid screens. So those are the tests you can look for. And I would also say this. There's a lot of research and talk out there about kids having high serotonin in the blood in autism, not in the brain, in the blood. And that's another reason I'll have parents not try this treatment. Please try it. Okay? If it works, you'll love it. If it doesn't work, okay, you don't need it. But honestly, it's one of the top 5 to try. So those are the things you need to know. So let's get into the science. Not a lot of science, but always good science. All right. So first scientific study of the day is plasma serotonin in autism. Okay? I did this first for this first sentence. Ready? Serotonin is necessary for normal fetal brain development. I would just like to repeat that because that is the core of this message today. Serotonin is necessary for normal fetal brain development. Plasma serotonin levels in mothers who have kids with autism were lower than in mothers with neurotypical kids. So low levels in mom, autism in children. Okay? Here's another one. Hypo or low serotonin in the developing forebrain causes autism. There's a lot of technical stuff here in the abstract, which I didn't highlight. But again, the title of this gives the message. Low serotonin in the developing brain causes autism. All right. Here's another one. Again, back to, I'm not here to point fingers, but this is where the research is. Low maternal serotonin levels are associated with cognitive ability and core symptoms in autism. Okay, so the moms who had the lowest serotonin levels, that's 5-HT, are seen in the highest severity of kids with autism. So the lower serotonin in mom, the worse the child or the more severe the child with autism. Okay, this isn't pointing fingers. This is about improving serotonin function in our kids. All right. Next, faulty, and this I think is part of why this happens. Faulty serotonin DHEA interactions in autism, the 5-HTP, 5-hydroxytryptophan challenge test. So let me pause before I read this, all right? We saw a couple good research studies before that said, hey, low serotonin, I'm concerned that it contributes or causes autism. We see this reflection in the mothers, not the fathers. Why? Because, hey, moms are the ones that grow the child and grow the fetus. So serotonin levels in the mother are going to cross into the placenta and affect serotonin and brain development, okay? So with that lower serotonin, we have lower brain development. And the lower the serotonin, the worse the severity. We can improve this in our kids. That's our goal. We're not pointing fingers. We're deciding how to help our kids. Now, the next study is going to be kind of intriguing because it talks about cortisol, and it talks about the hormone pathway. Okay, right here, I'm going to answer Gada's question. This is a very important question. Gada says, who is responsible for autism, the mother or the father? Neither. Okay? Neither. We are not pointing blame. We're not pointing fingers. We are not judging. We are not guilting. We are helping children. That's our direction. Okay? Frankly, it can be either or neither. So guess what? No, we're not doing that. Next, serotonin and DHEA. I don't mean to be angry with that response. I mean to be firm. I am not here pointing fingers, and I want you to point fingers. There's enough struggles and stress in a family and in a marriage that adding finger pointing is only make things worse when the fingers should be helping the child. It sounded weird. All right, so now we're talking about serotonin and cortisol. Now, cortisol is in the hormone pathway. So how can a brain chemical affect hormones? This is our body, guys. Stuff does everything everywhere, all right? We think so linearly, but we're so complex. So what serotonin does, again, think of serotonin as calming, relaxing. More serotonin, more calm, more relaxed. Cortisol is a stimulant, okay? It's a stimulant. Get the heck out of here is the feeling of cortisol. And adrenaline. Here comes the tiger. I gotta run. Cortisol, okay? It's not sitting and letting my brain development of how to talk and have a conversation. All right. It is go, run. So what are the comparisons between that. And we're also going to talk about something called DHEA, which is another hormone interrelated with cortisol. Think of DHEA as the calming one and cortisol as the get the heck out of here. So, serotonin and DHEA in autism, the 5-HTP challenge test. Autism is accompanied by peripheral and central disorders in the metabolism of serotonin. 5-HTP, remember that's the supplement we're going to take, induces a DHEA response significantly more in kids with autism than neurotypical. The cortisol DHEA ratio was significantly higher in autistic kids than controls. What does that mean? The results suggest that autism is accompanied by a major disequilibrium in the serotonin system and increased cortisol, which is neurotoxic, versus DHEA, which is neuroprotective, suggests an increased neurotoxic potential occurs in autism, okay? Because low 5-HTP, low tryptophan, low serotonin usually means higher cortisol, more neurotoxicity, more runaway, all right? The more you give 5-HTP, the more serotonin is produced, the more DHEA is produced, which is neuroprotective, and then the cortisol goes down. So we're able to see calming and less neurotoxicity from improving serotonin, okay? And the reason I want to show this research study is two reasons. Number one, there's many, many benefits of serotonin. So just if your child is sleeping good or is in a good mood, doesn't mean you shouldn't try it, all right? And then I wanted to show that neurochemistry and brain chemistry can affect hormones, all right? We're all interconnected. There's a lot, guys. All right, what's next? Treatment with 5-HTP increases social approach behavior. Wait a minute, what? Supplementation of serotonin synthesis with 5-HTP, guys, can increase social approach behavior. Increasing central serotonin synthesis may lead to a reduction in anxiety. Social reward requires a coordinated activity of oxytocin and serotonin. Oxytocin, really popular, like 15 years ago, kind of fall off the bandwagon. But oxytocin, that's the love hormone, requires activation from serotonin receptors. So in order for us to love, we need to be happy. I'm getting a little metaphysical on purpose, okay? Next, blood levels of serotonin, GI symptoms, and sleep problems. This one's pretty obvious. Positive correlation was seen between sleep issues and the severity of autism. And there's a significant negative correlation between serotonin and autism severity, which means lower serotonin, higher autism severity. So it's pretty obvious what we need to do, okay? I'll give you the coupon in a minute. What we need to do is understand that our kid's serotonin system in the brain is probably not functioning as it should, okay? And your child may have high levels of serotonin, low levels of serotonin. Who knows what is happening? But I'll say this. I have been using 5-HTP supplementation with our kids for autism for 20 years. And when it works, it's incredible. I would say a third to a half of my kids are on some kind of serotonin supplement because it works. So if you haven't tried it before, then try it. If you're using folinic acid or leucovorin and you're like, geez, I want more, and I'm at my max dose, can I just have more of that? Do something else. Do something else supportive around the periphery. And that is more nutrition for our goal, which is better brain chemistry. So we are going to be using 5-HTP. Now you can get 5-HTP over the counter. We have it as a chewable tablet called Super Serotonin Support. This is also mixed with some glycine and some vitamin B6. Now, not a lot of B6, just 1/4 of a milligram, 250 micrograms, pretty low dose. But the B6, the glycine, the 5-HTP, and the folinic are going to work together to boost your serotonin. So this Super Serotonin supplement you may have had. It's extremely popular. It's one of the top 5 things we have on our website. This is a new tablet, okay? Same ingredients, made differently. So I wanted to show you, because if you've gotten one of our new bottles, and we just came out with this last week, you may be a little confused. We sent an email out. It doesn't look the same. They used to be little pink tablets. Now, I want to show you. I just opened this. As I'm opening this, I want to comment on a side thing. Sometimes we get comments about the protective barriers being off. If that concerns you, send it back. There's a 30-day refund policy, okay? As long as this plastic seal, okay, there's a plastic seal here, you can see it. As long as that plastic seal is sealed, it left the factory sealed, okay? This plastic seal is done at the factory, okay? underneath that plastic seal, okay, you get this one. Now this one comes off real easy, okay, especially with heat. So you put this on, you heat it, it sticks. Then you put the cap on, you put the plastic on, you heat it, it sticks. Sometimes that plastic can make this part come up a little bit. That happens. As long as the external plastic is on, it is a safe product that left the factory as is. I wouldn't worry about this top one here. All right, side comment, then you got the cotton. So much cotton. All right, the new tablets look like this. Ta-da! New tablets are like that. Ugh, there you go. Tablets like that, pretty tiny, a little bigger than the other ones. This is, I don't know what size this is, a little bigger than the other ones. It's scored, and I'm hoping it's as easy to crush. So I gotta put it over here on my desk, and I got my espresso cup, and I'll smash it. Oh yeah. I smashed that thing 2 times with a cup, and it's turned into powder, okay? I usually eat these things live with you guys, but 5-HTP is going to make you tired and go to sleep. I'm not going to take it right now. I'll take it before bed. Okay. I just want to taste it though, just a little bit. It's got a Swedish flavor. Not Swedish like the meatballs. It's sweet, sweet-ish. Yeah, that's a little sweet. That's not bad. Now I'm going to have more. Yeah, a little flavoring there. I think like a cherry. That's what I'm tasting. All right. So that's our new super serotonin. So let me say this. I have given 5-HTP to boost serotonin levels in thousands of kids. And there are some stories that leave a mark, okay? One of them is, I had a child, she was on the spectrum, but very smart, mainstreamed, but no language, okay? She just wouldn't talk. She wouldn't socialize either, all right? She was great academically, she was in mainstream school, grades, not an issue. Socializing, engaged, interrelations, doesn't happen, okay? I gave her 5-HTP, 2 of those. Each one of those tablets is 100 milligrams. I normally dose between 100 and 500 milligrams. I gave her 200. She started talking within 2 weeks. She got friends. She got a boyfriend. She went on a field trip. She went to her prom. All of a sudden, boosting serotonin in her improved that social behavior we saw in the research studies. And she was able to have a better quality of life. Extremely better, okay? Next. 5-year-old, you see him a lot in our social media. He posts, gosh, oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. Such a cute little boy down in Florida. Anyway, I'm so angry. If you're watching live right now, I'm so sorry I forgot his name. But his mom put him on 500 milligrams, 5 of those tablets before bed. Language. So good language, okay? So good. Lucia said don't pass out. I'll try not to, Lucia. Hardwood floors down here. I would not want to hit that. So language, mood, sleep, calmness, social engagement can all happen with more serotonin, okay? If I'm getting folinic, am I getting more serotonin? As long as you have enough of that tryptophan or 5-HTP. And maybe you do or maybe you don't. And if you don't, taking something like, where did I put it? No, I lost it. Taking something like super serotonin support is going to make a huge difference. Not with everybody, but again, if I had 5 things for you to try, this would be one of them. Folinic, serotonin, carnitine, yeast treatments, binder. I mean, those guys are going to get you a lot. So, all right, let's give the coupon and then 5 questions. I love dropping pens. All right, coupon of the weekend is serotonin 20. That's going to get you 20% off any of our supplements, any of our lab tests on our website through August 10th, 2025. If you want one-on-one help, you can go to our website and schedule an online telemedicine appointment. Pretty cool. All right, let's go to our live questions, guys. For those of you who are new to us or listening out there in podcast world, we record our podcast live on our Facebook page, Spectrum Awakening Facebook. During the summer, we do it Mondays at 12 p.m. I take my lunch, give a podcast. We used to do it Thursdays. My Thursday lunch will be switching to that. Once the school year starts in September, we'll let you guys know we'll move back to Thursdays. Okay. So you can take part in a live recording. Just get on our Facebook page. Pretty soon we're going to have it on all our social media. And you can ask live questions. So we've got live questions here now from people who are watching live on our Facebook, and then we record it. So let's get some of those, live questions. Janelle. Thanks, Doc, for all you do to keep us informed. I have a quick question. We're doing the Genova test for my 3-year-old. How long does he need to fast? And is it normal for them to take 5 tubes of blood? Well, it depends which Genova test you're doing. I don't know what blood test you're ordering, so I can't say that. I would just say fasting overnight. So like go to bed, wake up in the morning, pee in the cup, and you're good. Same thing for the blood, just overnight fasting, which is 8 hours. Adriana, thank you for sending stars. Facebook stars are a way to send money to a Facebook Live speaker. We take 100% of our Facebook star money through Facebook and donate it to autism support groups TACA and Autism Hope Alliance. So your money is going to a good place. Thank you, Adriana. Adriana asks, why is my son non-sensitive to loud noise? And when he hears a baby cry or his brother, he becomes overwhelmed. Great question. We see this a lot and it's really common. And I think this is human nature and it's just our training. It's Pavlov. Okay. If we hear a sound repeatedly and what happens after that sound we don't like, we're going to be trained like Pavlov to not like that sound and freak out. Uh-oh, baby's crying. I know when baby cries, something happens I don't like, so that's bothering me. Okay. Versus the loud noise of like fireworks or thunderstorms that, you know what? I've heard that before. Nothing bad's happened to me. So I think this is totally Pavlovian PTSD kind of training. Adriana, we started the East Mall bundle and I'm ordering stool tests this Thursday. I love it. Jenny says, hey doc, or Rodney, shout out to Rodney. Jenny, what is the max dose of serotonin I can give my 5-year-old? She's 33 pounds. I would give her like 200, 300 milligrams before bed. That's where I would go. Adriana says she's ordering more stuff. Awesome. Use the coupons. She sent more stars. Thank you. Kushi, doc, we scheduled our first appointment for September. Awesome. We want to know if we can bring the appointment to August. If I have a cancellation, of course, yeah. You can see all the new patients. If this is a new patient, new appointment, first appointment, it's on our website. You can check our Calendly. If everything's booked, you can email us and put on a wait list. Okay. And if we get a cancel, we'll go on the wait list. Adriana, Superflinic is amazing. My son said A, B, C, D, E, F, G when he was mad. Isn't that great? Isn't it? The Superflinic is amazing for language and many kids, not all. Nothing works for everybody, but man, when it works. Like I said, I had 2 patients this morning who were just blown away, or I was blown away by the language changes in these kids. Jenny, are there any symptoms of a vitamin B overload? Yes, neuropathy. So you can get you start dropping things. You can't pick things up and hold them or get grip strength. So I would look for neuropathy first. Jeannie, thoughts on guanfacine for anxiety? We've tried so much with little results. Jeannie, good question. Obviously, everything here on our podcast, we focus on natural therapies before pharmaceuticals. That being said, some pharmaceuticals can really help. And my goal with any treatment is temporary, permanent change. Like antibiotics. I have strep throat. I take antibiotics, no more strep throat. That should be the outcome. That's the goal. Okay. If I get on guanfacine for anxiety, will I be on guanfacine forever? If it's working. Maybe, and is that good or bad? These are the questions we need to think of. Guanfacine is probably one of the few meds on a short list that I would personally give to my daughter. It's extremely safe. It's extremely old med. It's a blood pressure medication, okay? What it does is it lowers blood pressure. The less blood you're getting up to your brain, the more hyperactive and anxiety. The body's trying to get blood up into the brain. So it's like, jump. Let's do this. Get the blood, pump the blood, right? So you lower that blood pressure, okay? And you've got normal blood flow in there rather than, constricted blood vessels, which is what happens with hypertension. And so you're going to open up those blood vessels, get more blood, and the anxiety is going to be less, okay? Doesn't work with everybody, but I think the side effects are very few. It's a very few side effect med versus the ADHD stimulants, which I don't like as much. I hope I didn't ramble on about that, Jeannie. Try it. I would say try it. Sagar, we received the superflinic acid in Nepal. Sagar, you are in Nepal? I always have wanted to go and I have never been to Nepal. I hope it's as amazing as I think because I want to visit someday. And you started 1/8 of a teaspoon. How to measure the quantity. Yes, some speech improvement seen in the first week. We've not tested anything. Is that good? It does. Yes, guys, you don't need to test to try vitamins. Okay. The tests help us guess which vitamins and which treatments are going to work better. That's what the lab tests do. It pushes us into a certain, try these things first, but we're still just trying them. Okay. So just try it. Just try the Flinic, please. It's so good. How do you measure the quantity? Well, if you have a quarter teaspoon, you're going to use half of that. It's also probably a little less than 1 milliliter. I think it's probably like 0.6 mLs or half an ml is a ballpark for that dose. So try that. So try half an ml to like 3/4 of an ml or 1/8 of or half of a quarter teaspoon. Okay. But you're getting speech improvement on the minimal dose. Imagine when we start to up this. Cigar, if you haven't downloaded our free ebook on Phonetic, I want you to do that. Gata, thank you, Doc, for your advice as my child began to communicate and answer questions. Sometimes he tells complete sentences, but he can't express himself. No improvement, or there will be improvement and can express himself. Gata, I don't know if I understand your question. Let me read it again. My child begins to communicate and answer questions, sometimes. Tell complete sentences. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but he can't express himself. No improvement, or there will improvement. Gata, I just don't understand. If you can retype it. Jenny, hey doc, I've been giving my child superfolinic acid for 2 months now, and she's beginning to want to talk. She repeats everything. I'm so happy. Thank you. You're welcome, Jenny. This is what I want to hear, obviously. We want kids to get better. But this is the news. These are the stories we need to spread, guys, okay? You heard about me or Spectrum Awakening or Folinic or Leucovorin from something somewhere, okay? Be that for some other family. Inspire them. Tell them, hey, there's hope out there. You can do stuff, all right? I'll keep talking and coaching and guiding, guys, but other parents will believe you. You have a child with autism. You changed them. You know how. They will believe you, all right? So change a person's life. I know you can do it. Sandra, my son's taking fulvic detox. You have to take a binder with it. You don't have to, but it'll work faster. It's just speed. That's all. Keisha, any research on heavy metals and braces for your teeth? Keisha, that is a great question. I don't know. I haven't looked into that. Maybe we should. I don't like they have mercury in fillings. Kushi, should we wait for our appointment in September? Can we give him Folinic? Give him Folinic now. Give him. Go, 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 go. Stop. Don't stop. Time is ticking. Sandra, is colloidal silver bullet a binder? No. Would you take it with a binder? Yes. I like our gut binder sweet tasting. Do I have it here? No, I don't have it here. We have gut binder sweet tasting. Take that with colloidal silver bullet or with grapefruit seed extract, those two together. Alyssa, how many milligrams super serotonin should I give my 5-year-old son? Again, between 100 and 500 milligrams. But start with 100 and keep inching up before bed. Jenny, with school starting soon, is there any recommendation to give my 5-year-old for easy transitions and concentration? Start with the super serotonin and then the temper tamer. Okay, we haven't talked about temper tamer today. I think I just took my last one. I've been taking it. And those can help. That doesn't help, look for a gut infection. Megan, how do you lower the kid's serotonin if it's at 2200? I don't know if I want to. Honestly, I'm not sure if I want to. Pearl, is there a way, or if you really wanted to, try our anger management supplement. Pearl, is there a way for constipation for my 2-year-old? She's on Miralax every day. Pearlmon, I don't like Miralax. Why? Because almost 10% of kids in the initial safety trial had psychiatric side effects. And for our kids who are nonverbal or low verbal, and they can't tell me that they're feeling angry or sad because of a medication, I don't want that. All right. So try our brown log train. People love it. Okay. And start there. Brown log train. Lisa, what is MTHFR and what if MTHFR and FRAT are both negative? Does your supplement still work? You don't know till you try, but you can probably just use a lower dose. So people with more MTHFR polymorphisms or more severe MTHFR polymorphisms like 677 homozygous, which is the most intense, and abnormal FRAT test probably need more Folinic. So Lisa, normal labs don't mean you don't need something, okay? I would still take it because you still need it, right? Because the MTHFR just means you can use folate very well. Doesn't mean you have it, it means you can use it well. The FRAT test analyzes if you have an autoimmune attack on the folate receptor, which brings folinic acid into the brain, okay? Those could be fine, but if you never put folinic acid in your mouth, you're deficient, period. Okay, your genes say you can use it, awesome. Your body says it's gonna get into your brain, awesome. You don't need it, you don't have it, okay? So you still need to have nutrition, regardless of genetics and on autoimmune. You need nutrition. Rodney, the rant shows you care. Thank you. Becky, what time of day should serotonin be taken? So I want you to listen to this, guys. Becky says, what time of day should super serotonin support 5-HTP be taken? Before bed, because it will make you tired. However, I have kids who are so hyperactive, they split the dose, half in the morning, half before bed. That half in the morning calms them down, doesn't make them fall asleep because they're so ramped up. So in seldom cases, I will suggest twice a day. Only if your child's mega hyper. If they're mega hyper, they probably got a gut infection. So go with that. Lisa, my daughter's 23. We just had the testing last month. Yeah, for the serotonin. Anger management, if you want to lower it, but still, I think you need more. Adriana, she's ordering Folinic, serotonin, calm and cool, melatonin, anger management, multispectrum complete, brown log train, and the stool test. Awesome. Jeannie, I love your rants. I love knowing a reputable, knowledgeable, bold person feels the same as me and is on your side. Jeannie, thank you for the compliment. I will take that any day. And maybe it's just being a parent, and you see the world and you just see that everybody's just, not everybody, you see the people who are out there because they're out for themselves and they're motivated to do that. So they put themselves out there. And then you see the rest of us and you're like, you've been playing humanity's just been playing the same old tricks and games for the same old outcome, which is mostly money, forever. So you start to see through it. I know when I was younger, I believed it. That's, it's why they do it, because you believe it. And then you get to a point where you're like, come on, really? And I'm not going to pick sides here, because both, if we're talking politics, I'm not picking sides, because both sides do it. And they're equally as guilty for lying for outcomes, which is mostly money for their donors or themselves. All right, I'm done. Nikki, my son's doctor started him on Folinic in a product called Neuralink. He started talking in full sentences, but it no longer has the same benefit. Advice, add the other stuff. That's when you add the serotonin, okay? That's when we add other amino acids for the brain. That's the point of the Scourin solution, okay? Scourin solution is 4 supplements I put together as a protocol for this, including Folinic. Brianne, do you know about the neural zoomer test? I've seen it. I've had patients do it. You know what I feel about these tests? I hope you're just getting an honest answer while I'm just thinking about the words to say. I think any test is a good springboard for what to try first, but still try everything. I would not use a test to say don't do something, okay? Unless it's some kind of toxicity issue. Like, hey, my vitamin D is 3 times the high level. I think I'm toxic. Okay, don't do vitamin D for a while, all right? Low vitamin D? Yeah, you need vitamin D. Mid-level vitamin D? I still need nutrition. I still need vitamin D, okay? So I would never use a test to say don't do something, unless, as an example, it's a toxic thing, all right? I use tests as springboards for what to try first, but then after that, I try to figure it out. My South African importer just asked me why super serotonin was out of stock. I'll make sure it's in stock, guys. Don't you worry. All right. Adriana, Aria, I have a Folinic acid bottle. It's a few months old and solidified. Should I get a new one? So Aria, this is what happened. Your Folinic acid is just fine. We had an old lot that would clump because one of the ingredients was made from a yucca plant or a yucca fruit or whatever, which is very gummy and sticky. And so that's what happened. It's perfectly fine and you can chop it up if you want. But if you don't, just email us. We'll send you a new bottle from our new lot that doesn't clump. Brianna, recommendations for supplements for parental anxiety and stress. We have a new parent bundle. Look into that. It's an adrenal support and it's super serotonin. Klaus, can you take super serotonin supplements if they've had seizures? Yes, but I'm glad you brought that up because I should mention. Do not take serotonin supplements if you're on antidepressants, the SSRIs, like Prozac and Lexapro. You should not take 5-HTP or super serotonin support unless under a doctor's suggestion. Lucia, sometimes serotonin's high in the blood and deficient in the brain, just like folate, okay? High folate in the blood when you test it, but low folinic acid in the brain because of the folate receptor problems. Sonia, can you take 5-HTP with Namenda? Yes. I read the super serotonin has glycine and that can interact with Namenda. Yeah, but a very small amount. I wouldn't worry about it. It's not like you're not eating protein. I mean, there's glycine in every protein you eat, every burger, every hot dog, every chicken nugget. Becky, is it okay if your child has an MAO gene? Yes, we all have an MAO gene. If it's not working, you're going to be increasing your odds for anger. That's why I developed the anger management supplement. Anger management is designed to help with MAO activity. Iona, regarding the 30-day money back, why should we send them back if we're abroad? Who pay for shit? Guys, if there's a concern about returns, email our customer support. We want you guys to try our stuff because we know it works for many kids, but not for all. And if it doesn't or they don't like the taste, email us, okay? After 5 or 6 weeks, should we continue or move on to leucovorin? It's the same stuff, so I would expect the same reaction. Mitomax gives us a fishy smell. That's because of the carnitine. Email, you know what? Iona, email us. Email customer support, customer service at spectrumawakening.com. Joy, do you feel like blood tests are necessary before trying super serotonin or 5-HTP? I do not. Do it. Got it. Who's responsible for, oh yeah, we did that. Elena, what's the best supplement to start with for your 2-year-old with speech delay but no behavior or sleep problems? Serotonin, folinic acid, multivitamin, or power and focus? Oh, Elena, you tease me. Oh. Folinic. If you have no behavior problems, folinic. If you have behavior problems, do the gut treatment. Okay? You're going to see, and I say this because you're going to see better results faster with the folinic. Then I would add the multi, then the serotonin, then the power and focus. Mary, we've started the high-dose superfolinic acid, my 14-year-old, about 2 weeks ago and seeing amazing results. I just want to make sure I'm giving him enough. How do I know how much to give him? You trial and error up to a max of 50 milligrams or 1 milligram per pound. Iona, what are your thoughts about the frat test? My thoughts about the frat test are this. I don't need it to tell you to try folinic acid. Okay? Because if your frat, let's go through the different options. If your frat is abnormal and your immune system is attacking the bridge that brings folinic acid into your brain from the bloodstream, then you need folinic. You need more, okay? If it's normal, it means the tunnel and the bridge is working, but it doesn't mean you have it, okay? You still, you can have everything right. You can have let's talk about scurvy, okay? Which is a vitamin C deficiency. You can have the perfect vitamin C genetics, and you can have perfect vitamin C receptors and autoimmunity and this, that, and the other thing. But if you don't eat a piece of fruit, you're going to have scurvy, okay? Because it's a nutritional deficiency. And then you'll have those symptoms. You'd be like, my genetics are good. There's no autoimmune. How can I have scurvy? Well, you didn't eat it, all right? We're talking about nutritional deficiencies as well as the whole MTHFR and as the whole, and the autoimmune and the frat, okay? Those things don't tell me your nutritional status. Sorry, getting frustrated, but I see the marketing of these tests preventing you from helping your child faster. There you go. And again, I see people say my frat was normal, so I'm not doing folinic. What if you're missing something? You probably don't need a high dose. People with frat problems and MTHFR issues need a higher dose, presumably. But you also have to watch out for COMT and MAO. So I know you're looking for the answer. And you're diving deep for that answer as I dive deep into stuff. Keep this stuff simple. Try it. Try it. 30-day return policy. Try it. Okay? Courtney, is there a supplement that helps with obsessive thoughts? I would try our super serotonin and our temper tamer. What are your thoughts about EEGs for seizures? Yes. This is what I think. In EEG, which is those little electrical leads on your head that measure seizure activity and electrical activity, if you're having a seizure while those leads are on your head, they'll catch it. If you're not, they'll miss it. Research shows a 48-hour or a 72-hour EEG are the best. Okay? Half hour, 20 minutes, an hour, you're probably going to miss something. So I want you to make sure. Somebody just put in a very large order, guys. Joy, what do you do for a child who can't sleep for hours every night? Stays awake more than half the night trying to sleep. First off, try super serotonin. If that doesn't work, you've got a gut infection. Carla, today my 3-year-old started superfolinic. I'm starting with 1/8 of a teaspoon. Should I split the dosage? No. Morning only. What would be a max dosage? Well, download our free ebook. Okay, it walks you through it. Your max dose is 1 milligram per pound. Okay, so if your child's 30 pounds, it's 30 milligrams. With a max dose of 50. So if your child's 50 pounds, it's 50 milligrams. If they're 500 pounds, it's 50 milligrams. Diane, hey doc, is it normal my son's receptive language is more developed than the actual language or the expressive language? Yes, this is how language develops, okay? Let's take a neurotypical child, all right? We're talking, we're making sounds, and they're like, absorbing it. They're just sponging it up. And then we're like, what's the dog say? And they go, woof. And then we're like, what's the cow say? And they say, moo. And we say, dada. And they say, dada. And we say, mama. And they're like, dada. Sorry, dada's easier than mama. M's are hard. And then we're like, no. And they're like, no. And we're like, crap. Natural language development comes with listening, comes with repeating phrases or scripting, and then moves to conversational language. That is how you get this, okay? I'm doing this on Duolingo. I'm doing Duolingo French right now, okay? So yeah, watch and repeat, say and repeat, single words, phrases, back and forth. Duolingo does it. Emmanuel is talking to somebody. Got it. Using aluminum pans can cause heavy metal toxicity. No. We have to, when we talk about toxicity, there's different ways we can get our toxins, okay? We can breathe them, we can put them in our mouth, or we can put them through our skin. That's how we get them, all right? So when it comes to aluminum, what I hear, remember that research study? People are like, aluminum is the third most prevalent mineral in the Earth's crust, so it must be safe, right? Well, there's lava in the Earth as well. That's not so safe for me. But aluminum is very everywhere. It's very everywhere because it's in our soil, okay? And so our plants get aluminum too, and we consume our plants, or animals consume our plants, and we get that, right? So aluminum's everywhere. And because it's toxic, and I'll show you how toxic it is. If you didn't get this last week in the podcast, this is backwards. This is the toxicological profile for autism. This is from the CDC. This is 300 pages, okay? This is 300 pages of how toxic aluminum is. I download this from the CDC. You can too. I should just probably put the link somewhere. But I downloaded this and had it spiral bound to show you guys how toxic the CDC thinks aluminum is. Even though other governmental people will say it's just fine. Don't you worry about it. Okay? It's toxic stuff. We have, because it's in our soil, most humans and animals have developed to not absorb it orally. So when we put aluminum into our mouth, most of it gets pooped out. Very little gets absorbed. So using aluminum pans and drinking from aluminum cans, very little gets absorbed, okay? There is aluminum in higher aluminum levels and other things you put in your mouth, like aspirin, antacids, okay? So there's more in that, so you get more absorbed. But frankly, putting it into your skin is the worst. Inhaling it is the worst. So that's where it's different. So if somebody's telling you, hey, aluminum injected into your skin is fine because it's fine orally, no, that's not right. It's not fine orally, okay? I mean, excuse me, it is fine orally. It's not fine injected. Jawad, hey, I gave high dose Flinic by mistake and for 4 days. Is there any serious effects? You would have seen them by now. You would have seen the behavioral nightmares. So if you didn't see that, you're okay. You know, give it a week, flush it out. Sheila, what does an elevated 5-HIA on the OAT test mean? It means you're making more serotonin for whatever reason. Maybe you're supplementing or maybe you're not. Depends on which company did the OAT test, Sheila. I find Mosaic's 5-HIAA test better reference range than Genova's. I see a lot of kids high on Genova's 5-HIAA, and I disagree with that. Diane, super serotonin definitely worked for my son, who was just sleeping 1 hour per night over the last 2 years. Now he sleeps between 9 and 10 hours per night. Diane, I got to read this again. These are stories we tell. Super serotonin worked for my son, who was sleeping 1 hour per night for 2 years. And now he sleeps 9 to 10 hours per night. because of super serotonin. That's what happens when it works. Again, it doesn't work for everybody, but when it works, this is what you're going to get. Adriana, melatonin tastes so good. Becky, tried, but did not make my kid tired. Still hyper. That's okay. Nothing works for everybody. You tried super serotonin. Here, ready, guys? Diane says super serotonin is the best thing. 9 to 10 hours of sleep from 1 hour of sleep, right? Becky says, I tried it. Didn't make him sleeping. You're going to get different responses. If super serotonin isn't working, look for a gut infection. All right. Aster, do we give super serotonin before bed? I mentioned that. What if your child already sleeps good? Try it anyway. Okay? Please try it anyway. I never want somebody to not try something because of our thinking. And what if there's human error in that thinking? Okay? You cannot deny the response you see when you give something. Even if it doesn't work, can't deny that. All right? Can't see. If you have a genetic marker to have high dopamine and extremely low serotonin, would this be good? 100 million %. Also try our anger management, which will drop the dopamine. Bella from Carlsbad, Siataka. I usually give 1 super serotonin before bed. Should I also give it in the morning? If they're really hyper, yes, or just up the dose before bed. Keisha, do you still have sulforaphane? No, we do no longer carry a liquid sulforaphane. Sorry, guys. Yes, you can give serotonin with melatonin. I get that question a lot. Thank you, Becky. You can give melatonin and serotonin together because melatonin is going to give you 4 hours. Melatonin knocks you out 4 hours later. Melatonin's out of your system. And sometimes you wake up. So if you gave it at 9 and they're up at 1, melatonin, add the super serotonin onto it. Iona, do you prescribe leucovorin out of my clinic? I do not. I prefer our folinic acid because I think it's better. Yeah, I'm biased. But I'm biased because I'm looking for it here on my desk. I think superfolinic acid is better than leucovorin. And I'll tell you why. Leucovorin is folinic acid. Folinic acid is leucovorin. Same thing, different names, okay? Superfolinic acid contains more than just folinic acid. It contains other ingredients that act as cofactors to improve the effect of the folate receptor. All right, so I came upon this formula. I worked with a PhD from Cornell, her work at Cornell is folate and folinic and methylfolate. That's what she does. That's her life. So I talked to her and I said, look, how do I get this into the brain? How do I activate that folate receptor? Well, she's like, well, the research shows X, Y, and Z are the cofactors. Think of it this way, guys. Just like serotonin requires folinic and 5-HTP and this and that and the other thing and B6 to create serotonin, okay? Getting folinic acid in the brain is more than just folinic acid. Activating that folate receptor requires folinic acid and B12 and vitamin D and ATP, so we put it all in there. We put it all in there to really enhance the activity of the folate receptor, making this more effective in my opinion. Again, what's my number one rule? Try everything, use what works, throw away what doesn't. So if you have leucovorin, try leucovorin, then try folinic acid and compare and use what works, guys. That's all that matters. All right, I am going to stop now because it's an hour, and that was good. That was really fun. A lot of good questions today. So here's my thoughts. Try it. If you're doing folinic acid and you haven't tried super serotonin or 5-HTP, try it, please. Okay, and I think you'll love it. I hope you do. We saw a lot of great research that serotonin in autism can help with social behavior, can help with sleep, can help with mood. There was no research on language in serotonin, but I've seen it clinically a lot. So it's worth a try. All right, coupon of the week is Serotonin 20. Serotonin 20 will get you 20% off any of your supplements, any of your lab tests, not just super serotonin, but all of them, through August 10th, 2025. Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I will talk to you guys. Sorry, I'm thinking about my summer schedule. I will see you next week. What is today? The 4th. So we'll see you on the 11th. The 18th, I have no podcast. We're doing a family reunion thing. So I hope you guys have a great, fantastic week. Keep going in the summer. Enjoy it. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you for everything you do for your kids. See you later, everybody.